Up until the end of the 1990s, the maritime industry faced a systemic crisis. 216 bulk carriers were lost at sea, taking massive steel structures and human lives to the bottom of the ocean. While a bulk carrier sinking is a terrible human tragedy, structural failures on oil tankers present a different scale of risk. When the hull of a vessel like the Exxon Valdez breaks open, the resulting oil spill creates an environmental disaster that can last for decades. These losses forced the International Maritime Organization to act. The data suggested that existing maintenance procedures were insufficient to manage the stresses of long-term ocean service. In response, new regulations were adopted into SOLAS Chapter XI1, creating a mandatory framework known as the Enhanced Survey Program, or ESP Code. The ESP functions as a rigid, mandatory planning program applied to the statutory 5-year survey cycle. By standardizing exactly what to inspect and how to measure it, the industry shifted from reacting to hull breaches to using structural data to identify potential failures before a ship leaves port. The process begins months before an inspector ever steps onto a vessel. Ship owners must first complete a comprehensive survey planning questionnaire. This phase requires a review of the ship's cargo history. If a vessel frequently carries highly corrosive materials, those chemicals can rapidly degrade the internal protective coatings of the cargo tanks. Reviewers also map out 2 key targets. They flag critical structure areas, locations that calculations or data from sister ships show are sensitive to cracking, and suspect areas, which are specific spots showing rapid corrosion. This front-loaded administrative work ensures surveyors board the vessel armed with a forensic map of the most likely points of structural failure. During the physical inspection, the program mandates a close-up survey. Inspectors must be within arm's reach of the physical structural components to confirm their integrity. This level of oversight is legally required for any bulk carrier or oil tanker exceeding 20,000 deadweight tons. The rules escalate as a ship ages. For bulk carriers over 100,000 deadweight tons that reach 12.5 years of age, the inspection protocols become even more redundant. From that point onward, every subsequent intermediate and renewal survey mandates the physical presence of 2 separate surveyors. The sheer scale of these aging megavessels makes it difficult for a single person to catch every stress fracture. The code uses human redundancy to reduce the risk of oversight. Focusing down, inspectors look closely at the raw steel plating, specifically hunting for scattered pitting and grooving corrosion that eats away at the edges of welding joints. To determine the health of the steel, they rely on thickness measurement. This diagram shows a cross-section of a steel plate, where the total width is the original thickness and the internal threshold is the minimum allowed thickness. If you subtract the minimum allowed thickness from the original thickness, the remaining sliver of steel represents the allowable corrosion margin, the maximum amount of metal the ship can lose to rust. The legal threshold of substantial corrosion occurs when rust eats away 75% of that allowable margin, leaving only 25% remaining. Entering this final 25% zone places the vessel in a suspect category, which requires frequent monitoring to track the rate of wastage. When wastage hits 100% of the margin and reaches the absolute minimum thickness, the steel plate has reached its limit and must be replaced. This mathematical formula provides a standardized threshold for every ship. Under the ESP, once the wastage crosses that calculated line, the vessel is legally unfit to sail until it is repaired. These measurements and observations culminate in the Condition Evaluation Report. Known in the industry as the Green File, this report serves as the official record of the ship's physical health for the duration of its 5-year cycle. This chart shows how the Green File grades internal tank coatings. A good rating means minor spot rusting. The rating moves to fair for light rusting over 20% of the area and reaches poor during a general breakdown. Before the ESP became mandatory, many vessels utilized the continuous hull survey, which did not require these specific close-up inspections or mandatory coating assessments. By mandating close-up inspections and precise millimeter-level measurements, the ESP code provides a forensic safety net that prevents structural failures before they become catastrophic disasters.